Welcome back to my channel, Taurus. We're here to do a narcissistic tarot reading today, and if you enjoy my readings, please be sure to like and subscribe, as well as leave me a comment if this reading resonates with you. Alright, so let's just start out with the regular old tarot. So for what's crossing you, we've got the Lover's card reversed, and if you're looking for an answer in this reading, the answer is yes. Okay, and the Lover's card reversed has to do with basically this one's based on Adam and Eve, and if it's reversed, it's going to be, you know, that you're having trouble with your love, your union, your relationship. You may not be finding value alignments in your relationship or choices, as well as there may be a fall from grace or a snake in the garden, so they say. So let's go ahead and see what else we got here. So that's what's crossing you. And then in your recent past, we've got, okay, and this card is associated with Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, okay? And so for your recent past, we've got the Page of Wands reversed, and this one is all about, you know, it's a fire sign, and it says new actions, make plans, and take adventure risks, or you may be dealing with someone who's in always the need to be the center of attention. All right, so this is in your recent past. All right, so it also is talking about planning and things of that nature, and dreams, and you know, what are your dreams and goals. So it may be that you're not able to reach your dreams or your goals at this time, but that was in the past. So let's see what your immediate future holds. So in your immediate future, we've got the King of Wands, which wands are associated with fire signs, Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. And this is the King of Wands reversed. So basically this one's it's a call to action. Think before you act. Okay? It says you may be feeling restless, restless energy. It says plan before you go. Action has to be planned to be successful for a higher purpose or for mindfulness. All right, and let's just read the upright version. Okay, so this is all about someone who's charismatic, a hero, possibly a smooth talker or an artist. And this one's always talking about breaking your old patterns. One who is truthful even to a fault. Okay, so maybe that's something that you need to be careful about if you come into a situation like this, especially in association with someone who is Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo. All right, and then for your final outcome, we've got the Ace of Swords, which is Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. And don't forget, we're in the age of Aquarius now. All right, so aces are always about new beginnings, new opportunity, or new potential. So make sure that you're paying attention to any opportunities that might come about. And let's go ahead and take a couple narcissist cards. So I've made a bunch of changes to the narcissist deck. I have added a lot of information, and if there was additional room on the card after I put the basic information about whatever narcissist card it is, then I would try to put, you know, how do you react to such a situation? If you find yourself coping with narcissistic traits in yourself or a loved one, I put on the back of the card most of the cards, not all of them, because some of these are extremely wordy, and so I didn't have room to, but if I didn't have room, I made a whole nother card just for that. So, you know, if you don't get the answers you're looking for, it's okay to, just send me a comment and let me know. And if I can help you, of course, I will take the time. All right, and some of these cards are pretty serious psychological issues. So I don't want anybody to think that this is a diagnosis for any of these signs associated with these cards. This is basically just for knowledge, because knowledge is power, okay? So don't take this to heart. Certainly don't call anybody out that's of these signs because of these cards. But just let it be a learning experience so that you don't find yourself in a situation where you're being taken advantage of by a narcissist, okay? And of course, this is for... Whoops. Alright, so this is for everyone. Even if you find yourself having narcissistic tendencies, that's just something that happens, you know? Sometimes we're not proud of our actions, and sometimes, you know, we do have narcissistic tendencies. So, let's go ahead and see. Alright, so our first card is under what's crossing you, and it's called Narcissistic Spirituality, but the reverse side of it is Narcissistic Religion. Alright? And then we've got, in your recent past, that's for what's crossing you right now. For your recent past, we've got Revenge. We've got the Revenge card. And then for your immediate future, we've got Toxic Personality Disorder. Okay, so there's actually no such thing as a toxic personality disorder. But one of my favorite doctors had a video about what it could be if there was such a thing. And so I made a card based on that, because, you know, these traits are definitely narcissistic, and it can definitely hold you back. If you're feeling this way, or if you're dealing with someone who's feeling this way, you know, you definitely want to put those negative traits out of your life. And then that's for your immediate future. You might be dealing with someone who's toxic. And for your final outcome, we've got Emotions of a Narcissistic Manipulator. Alright, so that card is unfinished, but I do know quite a bit about it, so I will be certain to give you a little advice on that. Alright, so under what's crossing you, we've got the Lover's card reversed. And like I said, this is Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. So this may or may not be associated with you, especially if your lover isn't one of those people. But people's relationships that are close to you definitely affect you. Whether or not you want to admit it or not, the people that are close in your life definitely affect you, okay? So this Narcissistic Spirituality card, someone can come across as deeply spiritual, and the worst part about it is, a lot of times if they're narcissistic, it breeds hypocrisy, especially in spiritual groups such as yoga, or someone who's a therapist or something of that nature. It says actions speak louder than words. Keep a journal. If you're dealing with someone like this who is either found themselves in a narcissistic spiritual, it's kind of like a religion, but maybe it's not. It could be like any kind of movement where it's narcissistic. All right, there's no reset button after you say something that, you know, if someone has said something to you that was so narcissistic and it hurts, you know, it really hurts, it's like a knife in your heart, then there's no reset button for that. And narcissists don't really apologize for anything. So that's Dr. Ramani, who did this video about narcissistic spiritual people and narcissistic religions. So I'm going to read the back of the card now. Narcissists hide behind religion as well as rationalizing their behavior due to the church or religious beliefs. And I think that's absolutely crazy how people can use the Bible to get away with narcissistic tendencies. It breeds hypocrisy. And lying is also another huge issue that we have with narcissistic religions. They happen to gaslight you. They've been found to embezzle, and they can use religion as a weapon. All right, so I kind of feel like nobody who uses religion to, turn others against each other, that's not really a good thing. It's definitely not godly. So watch out for that. And it might have something to do with your lover or someone's lover that's close to you, that's possibly a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Or it could just be this new age of Aquarius that we're moving into. But either way, if you have a question that has to do with any of these things, the answer is yes. All right, and that's based on the Lover's card. All right, so for your recent past, we've got the Page of Wands reversed, which is, this one has to do with, make sure that you have a backup plan. All right, and then the card that goes with it is Revenge. All right, so I didn't write anything extra on that card because it's kind of obvious what's going on here. If you have a narcissist after you who is out for revenge, then you better watch your back, and definitely it works with the Page of Wands reversed because it straight up says to have a backup plan. If you have a narcissist in your life who's trying to gain revenge on you, or if maybe you are trying to get revenge on them, that revenge is never the answer. But you definitely want to keep your guard up. You don't want to be not paying attention to what's going on around you, especially if someone's trying to get revenge on you for something that you may or may not have even done. A lot of time narcissists, they really don't know the whole situation. Sometimes they can just jump to conclusions. All right, so for your immediate future, we've got the King of Wands, and this one was reversed. It's think before you act, okay? And it's all about action needs to be planned, all right, to be successful. So if you do have a plan, maybe you should put it down on paper, okay? And then the immediate future underneath that card for planning and higher purpose, being mindful, is the toxic personality disorder. So Dr. Grande was the one who went into the DSM, which is the manual for I can't remember what you call it now. It's basically diagnostic manual, and it helps you to figure out what kind of personality disorder that you may have. So this one's, he went in and pulled all the toxic traits out of it, and there's 10. So he says that holding a grudge is number 10, paranoid personality disorder, and then that's for where it come from. That's where he pulled it from, the manual. And then number 9 is inappropriate sexual behavior. This is from histrionic traits. And then we have number 8 is entitlement from narcissistic personality disorder. Number 7 is arrogance, condescending attitude, a narcissistic personality disorder trait. And then we have reckless disregard for safety, number 6. This one has to do with, anybody who doesn't really take your life or your future into consideration before they take action. Okay? This can have to do with financial or, your physical body, or it can have to do with your emotional um, safety. Number 5 is coldness, unexpressive emotions. Someone who is just not really, they're not really expressing the best. They're just unexpressive. They don't tell you what they're feeling. Basically, if you want to overcome anything in your relationship, you're going to have to communicate. And narcissists don't really do a very good job communicating. So, also, Mercury retrograde is coming this next month. Nope. January 30th. So, we'll probably start feeling the effects of it somewhere around January 15th. So, go ahead and prepare yourself because, it's bad, it's negative. Oh, okay, we still have 4 more. So, number 4, extreme position on conscientiousness. All right, so this can, even if it could be breaking the rules. Like, you could be extremely not conscientious, the one end of it, or you could be very conscientious. But either way, it can be a bad thing because perfectionism is going to fall right in there with that rigid adherence to the rules. So, trusting somebody who has a rigid, doesn't see the gray in anything, you might have done something to defend yourself, but something horrible happened. And they may turn on you because of their rigid adherence to rules. So it's not just, extreme on one end of negative, but it's also the other way too. So, you have to use reasoning and you have to really think about how what you do is going to affect you, okay? Especially when you're trusting people. So, number 3 is manipulative or deceitful, which is NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. Relationships can't grow if there is no affection or cognitive thinking. All right. So, manipulations and deceitful. This is number 3. You don't always know when you're being deceived, and it can be very difficult to find out if you're being manipulated. You might have to even cross some of your own boundaries in order to find out what's going on. So watch out for that. Manipulation. A lot of times people will not look you in the eye if they are lying to you. Just different things. You can look up mannerisms, and there's quite a few things that a lot of people don't recognize as to whether or not someone's manipulating you. Basically, it just comes down to knowing this person and seeing them manipulating others. You know that they're manipulating them, and then you can catch on whenever they're doing it to you. Okay, so that's unfortunate, though. That's unfortunate that you have to kind of manipulate someone else to find out whether or not you're being manipulated. But let's move on to the next one. Number 2 is lack of empathy. So this is anybody who doesn't feel remorse for something horrible that they've done. This is going to be someone who, a lot of people that are bipolar don't really feel bad if they've hurt someone's feelings. Sometimes, even if you don't feel like you should apologize, if you've hurt someone that you love, you should still apologize because you love them. If you still love them, if you want them in your life, sometimes we have to suck it up and make amends if you want the people in your life. So it's the same thing with others that are having lack of empathy and remorse. It's best to keep those kind of people out of your life, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes They're your family or your friends or people that you've known for a long time, people that you work with, things of that nature. So you have to learn how to cope with it. You can't just always cut them out of your life. All right, so number one is aggression and anger. And this has to do with borderline personality disorder, and no progress can be made. So people try to justify their abuse, but it's just not. It's not justifiable. There's nothing that you can do to change someone who has severe aggression or angry tendencies. If they do have borderline personality disorder, then they definitely need to see a psychiatrist and get a make sure that they're taking their medication or whatever the psychiatrist says that they need to do. All right, so I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychiatrist, and I'm not even a psychic. I just know that it can be really detrimental if you're dealing with any of these. Any of these toxic personality traits can really mess you up psychologically. It can even make you do things that you wouldn't normally do. All right, so for your final outcome, we have the Ace of Swords. Swords are all associated with air signs, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. And this is all about making plans and clarifying them. So you have a lot of cards here saying that not only do you need to make a plan, but you need to clarify it. This one says that you may be having restless energy and that you need to plan before you go. Action has to be planned. That was for your immediate future, the one that has to do with toxic relationships. Then we have the air card right here, Ace of Swords, talking about Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. And basically it's got a mountain on this card. And it's showing that things are going great, but you're going to have to climb a mountain to get where you want to be. Plans and clarity, workable intellect, mental powers awakened, cause of conflict, but it's worth it. It says this is going to cause severe conflict in your life, but it's worth it. All right, and there's a window of opportunity coming up, and you're going to feel fulfilled afterwards. So you may be able to make a wise decision for a problem or dispute that's going to come about in your final outcome. So the card that goes with this final outcome is Emotions of a Narcissistic Manipulator. So you might have somebody narcissistically manipulating you, which that's the second card that we have here. So let's just go ahead and assume that these plans that you're making have something to do with a manipulator, someone who's manipulating you and possibly using you, but just be careful what you do, and be sure to take a couple deep breaths and don't do anything out of haste or spite or revenge, because you've got this revenge card over here. But also be wary that this could be the other way around. So let's pull a couple more cards here. The reading's getting kind of long at this point, but this is just so up in the air. All right, so it says forgive and you'll receive forgiveness. Don't give up. Even if you're feeling strife, be sure to meditate. And you got the gaslighting card. So don't give in to anybody who's gaslighting you or manipulating you, and that's my best advice for this reading. Also, whatever your plans are, reach out to your fellow earth signs and they will help you get them done. Alright, Taurus, it's been so nice talking to you. If you did enjoy this reading, if you learned something, please leave me a comment and let me know. And y'all come back now.